I am speaking to you directly because time has been thinned like a thread pulled taut, and what was hidden has already pressed its face against the window of your life. Last night the air shifted around you, and things that drifted in the dark made a decision while you slept. The archangels stood at the gates of your night like towers of flame, and even they were astonished by the velocity of what unfolded around your name. You felt it in the way your breath paused between dreams, in the way your pulse changed rhythm, in the way you woke and could not explain why the room felt like a bell that had just been struck. Do not doubt what you sensed. The shock you feel today is the echo of a truth that touched you and hurried away with bare feet. While your eyes were closed, doors you forgot you locked were tested by hands you could not see. I permitted nothing to enter, but I allowed you to hear the soft rattle of the handle, so you would know that your season of pretending is over. Nothing is being done to you without my knowledge, nothing is escaping the orbit of my will. Yet I am urging you because the moment to face what you have postponed has arrived like a train that will not wait on the platform. You have asked for clarity, and I have answered with a bright blade of revelation. It is sharp enough to shave shadows from truth, and it is in your hand now. Listen closely. Last night, the plans of those who spoke with smiles and moved with double purpose were weighed and found thin. Their whispered agreements, their late messages, their cautious steps, none of it was hidden from me. The archangels leaned to hear the hems of their intentions and carried to me every thread. What you considered loyalty in certain hearts was a costume sewn with weak thread, and the stitching began to pop under the pressure of truth. I did not expose them to humiliate anyone, I exposed them to save your path from curving into a forest where light is scarce. I am not punishing you for believing, I am training your belief to see. There was also a name spoken over your house that did not belong to you. It was the name of fear, and it arrived like a courier who pretends to bring a gift but carries a demand. The archangel who watches the threshold of your life intercepted it and returned it to sender, stamping across its face the word void. You do not owe fear anything. It will still knock, it will still pretend to be official, it will ask you to sign your peace away in exchange for imaginary control. You will not sign. When fear arrives, let it read the notice on your door, occupied by praise, secured by purpose, watched by light that does not sleep. You have been wondering whether you misheard me because the waiting hurt, and the pauses felt like denial. Hear me now, delay was never denial, delay was positioning. I arranged your steps to pass certain corners at precisely the right hour. And I kept you from other corners that looked bright but were slick with oil. I cut ties that you thought you needed and kept ties that you did not recognize as rope ladders. I know what you prayed when you were tired of imagining better. I collected every word you sighed into your pillow and planted each one. Some seeds have already broken the soil, and some are swelling in secret places that your eyes cannot reach. But all will rise in the season I called them to. Do not dig up what I planted because you are impatient to see it grow. Water with patience. Weigh the day with gratitude. There is growth where you think there is silence. What happened last night was this: the map changed. Paths that once ran through other people's approval now run through your obedience. You will no longer be guided by the weather of someone else's moods, nor the forecasts painted by those who only know storms. A gentle but irreversible shift moved you from the outer circle to the center of the assignment I whispered to you years ago when you thought it too beautiful to be true. The Archangel stood in a ring and watched the boundary line move. That is why they were stunned, not because I changed my mind, but because I enacted what we have long prepared and you finally stood still enough to receive. You are no longer collecting clues, you are carrying a commission. Do not waste energy arguing with those who prefer you small. They will call this change dramatic because they were comfortable with your uncertainty. They may question your timing because they fear your clarity. Your answer is not a debate, your answer is a consistent life. Speak softly, move decisively, and let your fruit be the proof. I will place confirmations like stepping stones. Expect a message that bears the scent of honesty. Expect an invitation that aligns with what I already told you. Expect a closed door you once mourned to stay closed so that your feet do not wander backward. Every confirmation will echo what I have already said. Forward. I have also removed from the night a net that was cast to gather your attention. It was woven from old stories that taught you to brace for loss even when goodness approached. You learned to wait for the shoe to drop, then blamed yourself for the noise. That pattern is broken. When blessing arrives, you will not apologize for receiving it, you will steward it. When kindness is offered, you will not flinch, you will agree with it. When rest unfolds like a clean sheet, you will not feel guilty, you will lie down and let your muscles remember lightness. This is not indulgence, this is alignment. A rested heart hears me faster, and a heart that hears me moves wiser. You are still wondering who betrayed and who remained. Let me simplify what people complicate. Those who are for you will draw you to me, those who are against you will draw you away. Measure with that. Not with nostalgia. Do not turn a memory into a measuring stick, use my peace. If being near them continually pulls your eyes from me, pause. If being near them unlocks gratitude, proceed. I am not asking you to live suspiciously, I am teaching you to live discerningly. You can walk in love and walk in wisdom at the same time. Love without wisdom will exhaust you. Wisdom without love will harden you. I am giving you both because the road ahead needs both. As you step into this day, do these 3 simple things without bargaining. First, bless your thresholds. Speak life at your doorway, your desk, your bed, any place where you begin and end. Invite me to be first and last there. You will notice arguments dissolving before they arrive at your lips. Second, Set your attention like a lamp toward what you must finish this week and refuse the counterfeit urgency of distractions. Not every ping is a trumpet. Third, forgive quickly. I am not excusing wrongs, I am freeing your hands. You cannot carry the tools for tomorrow if both fists are closed around yesterday. In the next hours, you will be tempted to chase information that pretends to be clarity but is only noise wearing a badge. You do not need to hunt rumors, you need to hold instructions. I gave you one already, move forward in what I confirmed. Start the thing you keep saving for later. Make the call that keeps tapping your shoulder. Write the message that has been forming sentences in your bones. Clean the small corner you keep ignoring. It is not beneath you to begin with small faithfulness, it is beneath you to wait until everything is perfect before you begin. Start now. Excellence grows from obedience, not the other way around. There is a person who will try to return with a story rehearsed to soften your boundaries. Listen with compassion and watch with wisdom. If their apology restores honor and accepts responsibility without twisting your memory, you may allow a measured closeness. If their apology requires you to forget what I revealed, bless them and release them to me. You owe your peace the protection of boundaries. And hear this clearly. You are not harsh for enforcing what I taught you in pain. The guardrails built in tears are still holy. I have placed a sentinel in your nights, a quiet courage that you have recently mistaken for numbness. It is not numbness, it is steadiness. The waves have been loud, but the bed of the sea beneath them has not moved. Your core is learning my rhythm, and that is why you feel a hush even as change accelerates. Trust that hush. It is not apathy, it is the whisper of my hand on your shoulder while the world gestures wildly. You are not behind. You are precisely where obedience placed you. Keep going. As for provision, I will meet you in the specific, not the vague. Ask me for the exact amount, the exact door, the exact timing, and then watch how I braid answer with process. I will not fatten what would only make you slow, I will fit what will make you strong. Expect new channels that do not flatter your pride but do secure your growth. Expect opportunities that require you to stretch but not break. Expect to be surprised by how ordinary faithfulness opens extraordinary access. The keys will look plain in your hand, the rooms they unlock will be rich with purpose. What you feared you would miss, you have not missed. I guarded it where no hand could reach. Do not rehearse regret, rehearse gratitude. Regret is a poor teacher, gratitude is a sharp one. Thank me for last night's protection, even if you cannot name every detail. Thank me for today's assignment, even if you cannot see the whole map. Thank me for tomorrow's strength, even though you are only holding today's portion. Thanksgiving turns locks silently, and whole corridors of favor open to those who practice it until it becomes breath. I am not asking you to prove yourself, I am asking you to belong to yourself and me. You have been a guest in your own life for too long, waiting for permission slips that no one else can sign. Sign your own with courage that I provide. I will validate what I initiate. If I sent you, I will defend your going. If I aligned it, I will sustain it. If I breathed on it, no wind can blow it out. Do not mock the small starts, do not worship the large results. Keep your eyes on me, and you will not drown in either. Remember how your heart softened when you decided to forgive that one person even without closure? Last night I used that softness like a key. It opened a compartment in your story that had been sealed by resentment. Now, watch for an ease in places that used to feel stuck. Conversations will flow where they used to snag. Ideas will find exits instead of looping. It will not be dramatic at first, it will be steady. Steady is a miracle, too. There is a warning I give you in love: do not feed the fire of outrage with your attention. Outrage is expensive, it burns the oxygen you need for discernment. You can be passionate without being consumed, you can be informed without being inflamed. Guard your focus the way you would guard a child crossing a road. Every distraction is a car, your focus is your hand. Grip it. Let it. Bring it home. You wanted a sign, and I am giving you more than one. Before this day closes, you will encounter a line, a sentence in a message, a lyric overheard, a phrase on a wall, that repeats the word forward or rise or begin. When you see it, whisper yes under your breath and take the next faithful step you already know to take. Do not wait for ceremony, make obedience your ceremony. The heavens do not require fanfare to register your move, they record the humility of it. Finally, hear me with your whole heart. This is your last chance to remain uninformed, not your last chance to be redeemed. The urgency is not a threat, it is an invitation to stop circling the same mountain. Know the truth about them, about you, about me, and let that truth make you light. You do not carry this day alone. The archangels who watched last night now escort you into the clarity of today. Walk between them like a child who knows they are loved and guarded. Lift your chin. Breathe the clean air of decision. Step where I am pointing. Speak what I am giving. Release what I am removing. Receive what I am pouring. And when night comes again, you will lie down in a room that is still a bell, but this time, it will ring with peace. Listen to me, beloved, because I am speaking directly to your heart now, not through echo, not through rumor, not through the fog of fear, but through the living breath that sustains you. I have watched the weight on your chest and the tremor in your thoughts, and I am not careless with the tears you never let others see. I know the questions you swallow because you do not want to be laughed at or doubted. You are at a moment that is not like the others. Last night the unseen was busy around you, and the archangels were astonished that you did not notice what I permitted for your protection. They are faithful, fierce, and alert, yet they are still in awe that you, my chosen one, walked right past the threshold of a door I opened and did not realize why your atmosphere shifted, why the room seemed to hush as if every shadow were holding its breath. Only you did not know what happened last night, but I will tell you now. This is your last chance to know the whole truth before the window closes and the lesson becomes the consequence you never wanted. You thought it was just a strange heaviness, a restless turn of the night, a pause in your breath when you woke and looked at the time. But that was not ordinary. When you sat up and felt as though eyes were on you, my sentries were posted at the edge of your space. And a ledger was being closed, a case was being sealed, a door you kept leaving open out of politeness was silently pulled shut by the hand of an angel who has begged me for months to let him intervene more boldly on your behalf. The archangels moved because I gave a final decree over an interference that has been circling your name, wearing different faces, trying different tones, promising comfort, practicing guilt, dangling what looks like affection but tastes of control. They were in shock because when the sign appeared, when the whisper slid across your skin like a sudden chill, when the device in your hand flickered for a second, when the message you expected did not arrive, your heart still tried to excuse what has no excuse. To defend what keeps stealing from you, to cradle what has thorned you again and again. They marveled that you could be so tender and yet so quick to mistrust yourself. They marveled, but they did not mock. They adore my will for you, and my will, child, is not that you bleed to prove you can love. I am lifting the veil now. Last night a decision was rendered in the court of your destiny. I am God, and I am not theatrical, but I do honor the theater of time and choice, because I gave you both as gifts. There was an end written on a cycle that has mocked your mornings and crashed your evenings. There was a rescinding of permission for a familiar spirit that kept pulling old memories like strings through your ribs, making a puppet of your peace. There was a final inspection of a door in your house that you always leave unlocked in your mind, the door marked "Maybe they will change if I just hold on a little longer." Hear me, I will never rebuke you for patience, but I will correct you for self-betrayal. I am not asking you to be harder. I am inviting you to be truer. And truth requires that you stop setting a table for those who only come to eat you piece by piece and call it fellowship. I saw the plan formed against you yesterday, an arrangement that involved a name you know and a message that was meant to knock on your weakness like a collector at midnight. I allowed the plan to approach so you could see it clearly when I broke it. The archangels were ready, but the weapon that formed against you had to finish forming so that you could finally despise it, finally recognize its shape, finally lose the nostalgia that kept you forgiving its teeth. When the moment came, when a choice that looked small in daylight was towering in the twilight, I placed a steel edge in your spirit. That is why you hesitated. That is why the yes would not come out of your mouth. That is why you felt the air change in your room. That is why your dream startled and shifted at the end, the chasing figure losing its speed, the locked gate opening. You thought it was only sleep, but it was my hand untangling a net that had your name woven through it. You do not know what happened because you are kind to yourself in all the wrong places and cruel to yourself in the places where I am gentle. Hear me, the truth is simple, but the simple can be hard when it demands an end to pretending. I ended something last night. I lifted a permission that you never truly wanted to give, but you kept renewing out of old loyalties. I burnt a bridge that nostalgia called sacred and wisdom called a trap. I ordered a courier to begin moving a blessing that could not find you while your door swung open to the thieves you defended. I refiled your case under completed, and I stamped the page with a seal that says, "No further argument." Heaven is not confused. You are not losing, you are being unhooked from losses that disguise themselves as comfort. You ask me, if you finished it, why do I still feel shaky? Because endings rattle the bones that learn to wear chains like jewelry. Because silence after constant noise sounds suspicious to a nervous system trained by chaos. Because the subtraction that saves you can look like emptiness before it looks like space. But my word is this, the emptiness will not echo. I am filling it. I am filling it not with a quick replacement, not with a placeholder, not with sugar on the tongue that leaves you hungry in an hour, but with a presence that teaches you how to be accompanied even when you are alone. I am planting new habits like bright posts in your day, small beginnings that speak loudly, water, breath, the way you touch your own shoulder and choose tenderness, the way you close your eyes and say my name without bargaining. These are not small. They are new scaffolding. Do not despise these little obediences. The archangels do not. They watch you drink a glass of water and they witness a covenant, that you will not abandon the body I gave you while you wait for the life I promised. Hurry, then, because time, while kind, is not infinite in this version of you. This is your last chance to know the whole truth before it is too late, not because I will stop loving you, not because grace has an expiry date, but because certain roads do close, certain tide windows do pass, certain doors that are safest passable today will be perilous in a week. The person who keeps trying to negotiate with your peace will grow bolder if you reward their persistence with your trembling. The offer that pretends to lift you will reveal its chain, and if you are wearing it, you will call it responsibility and miss the name of freedom. The late-night apology that arrives with tears will be a wet match. It will not light the dark, only dampen the wick of your discernment so that the room smells like sorrow and you mistake it for love. You think you will always have the energy to read between the lines. You will not. That is why I cut the lines last night. What I am giving you now is a clean sheet with fingerprints you recognize removed. Do not reprint them. Do not let nostalgia break into your future and plant itself on the first page. You ask, how do I obey what I cannot see fully? Here is how: say out loud what is true even if no one is in the room. Say, I release the need to be understood by the one who benefits from my confusion. Say, I refuse to explain my boundaries to someone who only wants to argue with them. Say, I forgive the past from a distance that protects my future. Say, I partner with clarity even if it makes me lonely for a little while. And then do the small brave things. Change the lock I told you to change. Archive the thread that keeps unraveling your courage. Decline the meeting that always ends with you doubting yourself. Place in writing what you will no longer do, and send it only to me if that is all you can bear today. Heaven counts that as a signature. Last night, when you felt watched, you were. Not by predators, but by witnesses who have longed to see you step into the size of your own name. There are scrolls with your history, and they do not accuse you. They tell the story of a person who kept trying to be the bridge and became the road others walked on with muddy shoes. They tell the story of patience that would make saints weep and stubborn hope that kept its lantern lit in a storm. I honor you for that. But I will not let you be a monument to endurance and a stranger to joy. So I dispatched joy toward you like a homing bird, and it circled last night, looking for a place to land. It found the porch cleared of certain clutter, but it needs you to open the door today. Not tomorrow when you feel stronger, not next week when the schedule is kinder, not after one more conversation that will only tie new knots. Today, you are afraid of being wrong. You fear that if you mishear me, you will ruin something that cannot be fixed. Hear me, I am God. I redeem mistakes that come from honest risk faster than I rescue compromises that come from fear. If you take one step to protect what I protected last night, I will multiply its strength. If you take one step to remove the access you gave to the voice that keeps shrinking you, I will extend a wall of peace around you that is not anger but clarity. If you take one step to stop apologizing for needing air, I will teach your lungs a new pattern. If you take one brave silence, one holy absence from the conversation that has never once left you better, I will fill the quiet with a sentence that sets you free. My sentences do not hurt you. They may pierce illusions, but they do not harm you. They are scalpels, not knives. Let me do this surgery. You are already on the table. The anesthesia was last night's exhaustion. Wake up to wholeness, not to old duty. You think you owe them one more explanation. You don't. You think you owe me more proof than your tears and your yes. You don't. I do not collect your proof, I collect your trust. Trust is not a feeling, it is a choice that breaks repetition. Trust is the moment you recognize the tactics of the one who smiles while they taste your boundaries and you say, no more, without adding a thesis. Trust is a calendar appointment with yourself that says, rest, and you keep it even when no one is clapping. Trust is your hand loosening around the story that you are too much and not enough, as if both could be true at the same time. Trust looks like you believing me when I say that rightness is not always loud and drama is not proof of depth. Trust looks like you knowing that the calm you feel when you stop defending the indefensible is not emptiness, it is me. When the archangels looked at you last night, they saw the glow of someone who was being rewoven. Your faith looked like silk pulled from a cocoon that had overstayed its darkness. The shock in them was not disappointment but wonder at your humility, that you could be so marked and yet so unaware of how marked you are. You ask me, if I am so marked, why do I still feel ordinary? Because I hide royalty in ordinary so that it is protected while it learns to walk without bowing to every voice that calls its name. Royalty that needs applause is fragile. Identity that requires enemies to feel real is cheap. I am making you steady. This steadiness will offend those who loved you anxious. They will call your peace pride because it no longer offers them discounts. Let them name it what they need to. You call it what I call it, alignment. Last night I also moved resources. You do not need to chase what I am already routing to your doorstep. Opportunities that require you to be smaller are not opportunities, they are traps with velvet on the springs. The open door that will appear shortly will ask you to be more honest, not less visible. It will not require you to borrow a personality. It will not require you to pledge silence about what you learned in the dark. It will feel like a shoe that fits even if the path it leads to is uphill. You have been ready to be carried, now you are ready to climb without the old weight. Your strength will surprise you, not because it is new, but because it is unencumbered. I am not adding brawn, I am subtracting burdens. I am not making you a different person, I am letting you be the person I whispered into the world when I put your name on my tongue. What happens if you ignore me? I will still love you. I will still send mornings, still line your horizon with reminders, still put good songs in your path. But you will lengthen the wilderness. The trouble with ignoring this moment is not damnation, it is repetition. You will repeat a year you are capable of graduating from today. And repetition does something subtle to a soul, it makes hope feel impolite. I want your hope loud. I want your hope to have elbows. I want your hope to save you a seat in rooms you cannot yet imagine. There is a difference between long-suffering and looping. I call you out of looping. I call you into the long-suffering that leads somewhere, a cross that becomes a doorway, not a cage, so hear me, and move now. Write what you will no longer allow and sign it with the calm that feels new in your bones. Remove the last, lingering hidden paths they use to reach you in the late hours. Stop explaining your soft heart to those who treat it like clay for their pottery. Stop giving pre-approval to people who haven't earned basic trust. Raise the price of admission to your presence, not out of arrogance, but because what is sacred must be stewarded. Forgiveness is free, access is not. Mercy is abundant. Your minutes are numbered in this life and must be spent like a wise heir, not a gambler. There will be a sign today that will look unremarkable to everyone else but will be thunder to you. It might be a phrase on a billboard that names what you have been afraid to name. It might be a sudden memory that does not hurt anymore. It might be the message that does not arrive from the person who never fails to test you, and the quiet that follows will feel like a miracle you did not know how to pray for. When you notice that sign, say thank you immediately. Gratitude is the language of those who know they are not abandoned. Gratitude is not denial of pain, it is recognition of presence. I am with you in this. I am not observing from a distance, I am near enough to feel your pulse, and I am steadying it. I am not asking you to become a warrior overnight. I am telling you that you already are one, but your weapon is not fury. Your weapon is clarity. Your banner is not revenge. Your banner is dignity. Your song is not I told you so. Your song is I remember who I am. Sing it under your breath when you feel the tug of the old script trying to draft you for one more performance. Sing it when the phone lights up with the name that once made you melt and now must make you move in the opposite direction. Sing it when you lock the door you never used to lock because you confused access with love. Sing it when you go to bed tonight and the room feels too quiet. It is not too quiet. It is finally quiet enough to hear me whisper the details of your new instructions. I will give you names to trust, and they will not be the loudest. I will give you a mentor disguised as a friend and a friend disguised as a stranger who shows up at the right hour. I will give you a task that looks small but will restore a region of your heart that has been unlit for years. I will teach you not to mourn the room you left, because the room I am inviting you into has windows you could not have imagined. There will be light in angles that make your face look like rest. There will be laughter that does not cost you parts of yourself. There will be work that feels like worship because it honors your design. When you taste this, you will grieve all the times you called suffering growth when it was only appeasement. Let the grief come and go. It is a wave washing footprints that headed back toward the cliff. I did not bring you this far to stand you at the door and tease you. I am not asking you to leap without a bridge. I became the bridge last night. You walked across it and did not even know. This is why the archangels were in awe, why they touched their blades to the ground and smiled, because you crossed. Today you only need to keep going forward. Do not send postcards to the past. Do not go back for one more hug that will only hide another hand searching your pockets. Do not apologize for closing what I closed. Bless it, release it, and step. Your step is the signal to the blessings already in motion that they may accelerate. I say this with tenderness that could soften stone. Hurry. Not in panic, but in purpose. Hurry to choose yourself the way I chose you. Hurry to say the sentence that ends the cycle. Hurry to pour the oil on your own head and call yourself anointed for what is next. Hurry to shred the scripts that trained you to beg for crumbs. Hurry to feel the floor under your feet and call it holy because you survived to stand on it with a mind that is learning to love itself in my presence. You are not behind. You are precisely on the hour I set. What would be too late tomorrow is perfectly timed today. I have loved you with an accuracy that never once missed the thread of your breath. I have loved you without needing you to perform. I have loved you while you defended what hurt you because you feared being alone with me. Now you will learn that being alone with me is not loneliness, it is calibration. It is the tuning of an instrument to perfect pitch. Your life will sound different because it will not be playing along with the loudest drummer in the room. It will be playing along with the pulse I built into you before any voice told you to be quiet. I am turning you up to the volume of truth. What happened last night was not a rumor. It was a ruling. It was a rescue that looked like silence. It was an ending that felt like a pause so that you could step into a beginning that will feel like breath. Do not miss this because you are searching for fireworks. I came as stillness and the stillness won. Now, choose with me. Choose what does not bruise you. Choose what does not make you bargain for crumbs. Choose the difficult kindness toward yourself that others might call selfish because they preferred you weak. Choose to be the guardian of the life I am placing back into your hands. Choose to say, "It is finished," and then live as if it is. I have spoken. Now walk.